The Super Hornet is unique in its ability to operate at slow speeds and high angles of attack. Observe how the aircraft rotates 180 degrees while in a nearly flat attitude. The Super Hornet's engines produce over 44,000 pounds of thrust in full afterburner. This allows the aircraft to sustain 8 times the force of gravity in a tight turn radius of less than 1,500 feet. Whether in a dogfight or avoiding surface-to-air missiles, the ability of the Super Hornet is a tremendous tactical advantage. Ladies and gentlemen, watch as the aircraft enters from the left, rolls into a 90-degree angle of bank, and demonstrates the Super Hornet minimum radius turn to vertical tail stand. The Super Hornet is now setting up for a high-speed pass to an idle vertical climb. During this maneuver, the aircraft will approach at you at nearly Mach 1, demonstrating the use of speed as a surprise to the enemy. Keep in mind, the speed at which they are flying is only half the aircraft's capability. As they pass in front of you, Lieutenant Piacentino will pull the aircraft into the vertical and quickly climb and point the jet back at the Earth. I direct your attention to the right as the Super Hornet approaches, accelerating towards the speed of sound. Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Hornet high-speed pass.
Half speed.
The aircrew are now locking their harnesses as they prepare for their next maneuver, the vertical pirouette. Entering the maneuver at 350 miles per hour, they will pull the jet into the vertical and roll the canopy towards the crowd. Selecting full afterburner as airspeed slows through 200 miles per hour, Lieutenant Piacentino will perform a push-pull maneuver and set up for the vertical pirouette. This maneuver requires the aircrew to experience a very uncomfortable negative Watch how the aircraft swaps ends and rapidly points back down to the ground. The aircraft is now setting up for a maneuver known as the square loop. Selecting afterburner as the jet approaches show center, Lieutenant Piacentino will rapidly reposition the nose 4 times while flying a square path through the sky. After exiting the square loop, they will execute a loaded roll and demonstrate the incredible slow-speed maneuverability of the Rhino. watch the Rhino loaded roll. The nose appears to stay in place while the tail rotates around it. As the Rhino approaches from the left, the aircrew will accelerate the aircraft to 450 miles per hour at a height of 500 feet. Approaching SO Center, Lieutenant Piacentino will roll the aircraft inverted and reduce power to idle.
Oops. It's like something you wouldn't want to do a lot of.
Ladies and gentlemen, the inverted whisper pass. The aircrew are now setting up for the high alpha pass. This maneuver will showcase the incredible slow speed handling characteristics of the Super Hornet. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, from the right, the Super Hornet High Alpha Pass. As the Rhino approaches from the left, the aircrew will demonstrate the incredible pitch authority of the Super Hornet. Approaching show center, Lieutenant Piacentino will roll the aircraft into a 90-degree angle of bank and abruptly pull away from the crowd, followed by an immediate nose-high maneuver. The job of a naval aviator is not complete until his or her aircraft are now setting up for a simulated approach to an aircraft carrier landing. Using an optical landing system, the pilot guides his aircraft to a precise location on the carrier deck.
Like a great roadblock hitter.
Yeah.
The Super Hornet you saw here today is one actually used by Strike Fighter Squadron 122 to train pilots and weapons systems officers at Naval Air Station Lemoore, California. Lieutenant Piacentino, Lieutenant Bernard, and I currently serve as instructors at VFA 122 and spend most of our time teaching new pilots and weapons systems officers how to employ the Super Hornet.